Everyone. This is book number 2 for this month. Let's get some light. All right. And Hope on the Tightrope. We're reading through it. Great words of wisdom in a small package. And let's see if the CDs. It comes with a CD. Okay, so with music and interviews and things like that. Let's go. Democracies are predicated not simply on Socratic energy, the critical engagement and examination of dogmas, but also on trying to shape a person's character in such a way that whether one is Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, secular, agnostic, or atheistic, you must have compassion for something bigger than your own egocentric predicament. You must be able to make connections across difficult boundaries. In a real democracy, it's hard to remain tribalistic or regionalistic in any narrow way. The road of inquiry is open to all travelers to the degree to which they are willing to allow their relative ignorance or naked power to be put in the spotlight. American history has always been an interplay between tragic thought and romantic impulse, inescapable evils and transformable evils. To be a critic is to muster available resources to respond to the crisis of one's own time in light of one's view of the past. Every social issue has an ethical dimension. There is some value judgment built in every issue, some moral vantage point from which the world is viewed. The vocation of the intellectual is to turn easy answers into critical questions and to put those critical questions to people with power. The quest for truth, the quest for the good, the quest for the beautiful, all require us to let suffering speak, let victims be visible, and demand that social misery be put on the agenda of those with power. So to me, pursuing the life of the mind is inextricably linked with the struggle of those on the margins of society who have been dehumanized. Many students remember that wonderful moment when you leave your classroom and realize that your worldview rests on pudding. You've completely lost your footing across the board. All the assumptions and presuppositions you learned from your family, neighborhood, partners, mosque, synagogue, or church can't sustain you any longer. Darwin hurts. Toni Morrison shook me up. That's called education. You don't have to agree with Morrison or Darwin, but you've got to engage them. You don't have to agree with Kafka, but if you can make it through the metamorphosis and then just go off and have a taco at Taco Bell, something is wrong. You can't talk about trying to overcome something unless you get the lies out of the way. Truth is all about allowing suffering to speak. Suffering can't speak if the lies are suffocating that voice. Here's the bottom line. To be inspired by ordinary human beings made by God who undergo suffering, but who have the courage to imagine a different future and are willing to fight for it, and to decide to fight along with them. That is prophetic thought and prophetic action as I understand it. If success is just an end and not a means to something else, then spiritual malnutrition and existential emptiness await you. Do you think that somehow you can stuff your humanity into your profession and your social function? Try it and see. No way. Humanistic intellectuals are being marginalized in our society by the technical intellectuals, such as physicists, computer scientists, and so on. But they receive funding from huge private enterprises, from the state, and from the military industrial complex. Why? Because the products they provide are quite useful for a market-driven society. The debate about what constitutes postmodern culture is not a mere disagreement about the use or misuse of a phrase, but rather a raging battle over how we define and conceive the role of culture in American society. Postmodern culture looks more and more like a rehash of old-style American pluralism, with fancy French theories that legitimize race, gender, and sexual orientations, interests into the new marketplace of power, privilege, and pleasure. This entree is not simply desirable, it is imperative. The past exclusion of non-white and non-male intellectual and artistic talent from validation and recognition is morally loathsome. And that's from, again, let me put my marker in so we know we pick up for the next video. And that's Hope on the Tightrope, book number 2 for this month. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you for the support. And I want to say until next time, please take care of your mind, take care of your body, and be safe. It's rough out here.